Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
I text her and I asked her, did it come in? And she was just basically like, no, it didn't come in. But mind you, I had to constantly text her on Facebook, on Instagram, from 2 different social media accounts I had to text her from, and she wasn't responding back. I had to constantly text her more than once.
This is the plaintiff, Kyla Coley. She says she brought a wig to the defendant so she could apply it to her head, and the woman ruined it. She put some kind of oily substance in it to style it. The wig disintegrated, and the rude woman's refusing to pay her for a new one. Some people. She's suing for $350, the cost of a new wig. This is the defendant, Diamond. She says the plaintiff's a pretty big Instagram model, and she hired her to style a wig she wanted to showcase. The wig was in very bad shape when she brought it to her, and it was overplucked and nappy. She did her best to make it look good. The plaintiff was happy when she left, and now she wants a new wig from her, claiming she used some kind of oil on the wig? Preposterous. She's accused of giving a model a bad hair day.
All parties, please get your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Millian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Cooley, you're suing Ms. Diamond for $350, the cost of a wig you say she ruined. What happened?
So basically on December 3rd, I went to get my hair done by her, and I bought a wig that I got in November. And when she installed it, she put some oil on it, and before I left, I had asked her, usually I put either mousse or water on curly hair. And I asked her, I usually don't put this oil on my hair. And she said it was going to dry up when I got home. So when I got home, I noticed that it didn't dry. That's when I took the pictures. And I texted her and I told her, I said that it didn't dry. I texted her on Instagram. And I said, I don't like how it looked. It don't look right. The texture is not the same. And I had called her because she didn't answer. So she was saying that I can come back and get my hair done. And I also told her that it was plucked too much. It was plucked too much. It was a bald spot as well on the wig. And at first I didn't remember if she washed my hair, but I went back into my Uber receipts and I did go back and forth to her house. So when I went, she did wash my hair. She washed the wig, but the oil did not come out of it. The texture was messed up. It was completely ruined by then. The oil destroyed the texture of the wig. I remember her saying that she wished she had a certain type of hair wash, like a shampoo wash, for it to come out. She did mention that because she didn't have the right shampoo for it to the texture to come back to how it was. So I left and got the more hair. I got a frontal and the tracks that I had. And I went back to her hair for her to put that in my hair instead because the wig was completely ruined. She couldn't redo that wig. She couldn't re-put it in my head. At that point, I had to get different hair in my head. And she bleached the front, the 2 streaks of it. That was fine. But still, that...
She didn't charge you for any of that, right?
No, she didn't charge me for that.
And then you say to her, what are we going to do about the wig being messed up? And what does she say?
She said, I have wigs coming in and she said about January 21st. I was too sure if it was January 21st or January 23rd. I just know it was around that time period. And
how much later would that have been from the time that you went there?
That's a month and a half.
Okay.
And
then what happens in January?
So when January come, I text her and I asked her, did it come in? And she was just basically like, no, like, it didn't come in. But mind you, I had to constantly text her on Facebook, on Instagram, from 2 different social media accounts I had to text her from. And she wasn't responding back. I had to constantly text her more than once for the wig. And she responded back and told me that it was going to come sometime, I think, in February. And when I messaged her in February about it, she said, oh, she's not in town, which I had to constantly text her again to get her attention.
Can I ask you something? You submitted some pictures, and I'm trying to figure out what pictures show what. Where is the wig? In the front, in the back? Where's the wig? A whole head?
In the front. Yeah, that's the front. Yeah, the front. That was in November when I first put it on.
Do you have the receipt from the wig in November?
No, I don't have the receipt.
So how do you come up? How are you going to prove $350?
Well, I do have the receipts in my bank statement of a wig, but I didn't send that in.
And first of all, what you did was you sent the screenshot of a wig off the internet, and it's $250. So where do you come up with the $350? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Ms. Diamond, I want to talk to you. What exactly did you do for her that day?
She brought me the wig. Once she pulled it out of the bag, it was very tangled and over bleached. So all I did was wet it, detangle it, sat it under the dryer. It didn't have much texture after it was under the dryer. So once I put it on her head, pulled the baby hairs that was already cut down and like laid it down, I put it up in a half down and I sprayed it with some curling refresher spray and some oil sheen just to give it that look as like it was fresh. But the way the hair was over bleached from the last install, I couldn't cover that. I couldn't fix that. That wasn't my problem because the wig she brought me was used and it was already cut. So I just basically put it on and put the style back that she had.
Well, so but according to her, she mentions to you, hey, this looks really greasy when she leaves there. And you tell her, don't worry, that'll calm down later. Did that happen?
Yes, because when she left, her hair was soaking wet.
And then according to her, this is how she left. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, because it does look kind of greasy.
Yeah, it's greasy because I used a wax stick to like kind of hold it up into the half up, half down without using too much holding spray. So she would be able to use it again if she decides to. But if you look on the side there, it's really over bleached. And the front is the bald spot she was talking about. That's just the over bleachedness. I didn't pluck the wig at all. I just pulled the baby hairs that was already cut down.
And is this the second wig that you put in?
No, that was a reinstallment I did for her a couple months prior to this incident.
Okay. What are you trying to show me in this picture, Ms. Coley? Because you're the one who introduced this into evidence. What am I supposed to be seeing?
Okay, so in the screenshot, she mentioned that she colored hair for me for free. Keep in mind that I paid for the install. I paid for the wig install. I still paid my money, my $140. I still paid for the wig install. But that was when I accidentally took a picture at her house because she said that she colored a wig for me. She said, I even colored your hair, but she bleached the front of it. That's 2 streaks that's in front of it. That's not color. So that's what basically I was trying to show, that she never colored anything. She just bleached 2 streaks in the front.
I need to see a receipt for that wig to know how many times it was used and potentially plucked and abused and bleached and blah, 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 all the other things that can be done to that wig. I need to see a receipt for that wig. Do you have a receipt for that wig?
Yeah, I have a transaction in my bank statement of it. I do. But on November, when I had it in my hair, the first time I put it on my head, it did not look like that. I had to go to work. Why would I waste my time? I had a whole shoot for a photo shoot. Why would I waste my time if putting a messed up wig back in my head? Like, it makes no sense. Why would I waste my time putting a messed up wig back in my head? Then I had to reschedule.
Right. I need to know the value of the wig. And I need to know, and part of the way a judge assesses the value of something is they depreciate it over time. So I would need to see when the wig was purchased, how old it was, so that I could guesstimate how many times you'd been using it and how many times. I mean, you know, that's kind of, it's just, you know, the depreciated value of a wig is a difficult thing to come by, but it kind of helps if you have a receipt. And then why are you, Ms. Diamond, telling her that you're going to replace her wig if you don't feel like you did anything wrong? Tell me that.
Okay, so the conversation we had was that she either gets $70 back for the first install, that's half of it, or I just give her a wig. And I thought about it as like free promotion because she's a Instagram model. She has a lot of followers. So she's going to post a picture I can use that as, oh, this is my 30-inch body wave wig or whatever. And I was going to use it as that. But when I seen that she was blaming me for all the other damages, like over plucking it, bleaching it, and all of that, I didn't do any of that. When you come to me for a reinstall, your hair should already be plucked, bleached, and everything. I'm only putting it on, gluing it on, pulling out the baby hairs, and putting it in the style that you want. That's all.
So, okay, so why did you tell her that you'd give her a wig?
I told her that because she was like basically coming at me, telling me, oh, you damaged my wig. And I'm telling her like I didn't. She was just like, oh, I have to work and all this other stuff. So I just told her that I would give her the wig in replacement of her feeling like that. And I thought about it as free promotion.
Customer
I wasn't
relations.
thinking about it as like, yeah, like she's not a stranger. I know her. So I wasn't even thinking about it that way. But me personally, I know I didn't destroy her wig because when she got here, it was very nappy. I had to soak it in order to even detangle it or get through it. So the texture was damaged already when she got here because the wig was so old.
Right, but like, look, what do you do for a living, Ms. Coley?
Well, I'm a model. I have several, like, I get booked a lot for like video shoots and like photo shoots and gig with bartending. So like, I had a gig and for that day, I had to reschedule my photo shoot.
I mean, you know, when you say, Ms. Diamond, when you say, oh, the thing was trash when it got here, then why install it? I mean, and why would she, who's so into her appearance, you know, with the pictures and the thing and the whole social media stuff, why would she bring you? She makes a point when she says, oh, it's that big of a wreck and yet we're both willing to install it. You know, what say you to that?
Honestly, I've seen worse wigs. So when she showed me, I didn't even like really think about it as like a really damaged wig because I know how to fix it. It just wasn't fixed to her liking.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
I feel like I wouldn't have wasted my time. Like, if you look up a water wave 30-inch wig, that's very expensive. Why would you?
I don't know how expensive it is because your evidence is all over the map and non-existent. You don't have the receipt. What you gave us was a $258 wig, and you're asking for $350. Did you agree that you did put oil into it, right, Ms. Diamond?
Yes.
And her complaint is the oil didn't dry up or go away or get soaked in or get absorbed or anything else. It just stayed oily. And what's your answer to that?
Honestly, when she came back for the second day, I was willing to wash the wig out. The shampoo I use is a clarifying shampoo. It strips the hair of completely everything. So when I came back in the living room and showed her the wig, she was rubbing her hands through it, saying that she still didn't like the texture and she didn't even want to install it back in her head. So me not washing out the product is not true. I washed out all the product and I showed her the wig after.
Do you have a picture? Did you take a picture of the wig before you gave it back to her? Ms. Diamond?
I didn't.
Do you have what did you do with the wig, Miss Cooley?
It's gone. I threw it out.
You threw it out. All right. Did you take a picture of it before you threw it out?
No, because after she washed it, when I got home to get the new hair, I just threw it out.
Why did you throw it out, though? If you're going to file a lawsuit over it, you didn't think maybe the judge would want to see it?
Because I didn't know, because I thought she was going to give me a new wig. That's why. And my point is, why would you give somebody a 30-inch free wig for free if you did not do anything to their wig?
Well, there are reasons why. Somebody might want to have their
expensive.
hashtag on your Instagram account. There are customer service reasons why. Based on what I'm hearing, I believe that something more than an install was done to the wig, because you're telling me yourself that you put product and oils and whatever else. But this proof of $350 for the wig, you're way off on that. You don't have anything remotely approaching proof that it's worth $350. So I'm going to do a little what? Douglas.
It's your
my
time
to shine, Douglas.
There we go. We're going to do a little bit of rough justice.
There you go. I love the way he says that. And I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $100. That's my verdict.
Wow, rough justice was not good for the plaintiff. She's only going to get $100. She wanted $350. Let's see what she thinks about that. Ms. Coley, you're only getting $100. What's your reaction?
At the end of the day, at least I handled it the right way, and it didn't go further than what it was.
Well, Ms. Diamond, I know you wanted to do her hair because she is a kind of a star, but she's not happy, so she's not coming back. How about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. Honestly, I hope she doesn't come back.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for the case, and good enough for you. If you're happy and you're semi-happy, I guess that'll do it. Harvey, interesting case. What do you think?
You know, Doug, the judges talk from time to time about rough justice. I just want to spend a second talking about what that means. That when you go into a court, a bigger court, let's say you're suing for $1 million, you have to prove your damages to the penny. In small claims court, a lot of times in a lot of states, provisions are made knowing that these litigants are not lawyers and they can't necessarily come up with all the precise things that you would need in a different kind of court. And that's why the judge talks about rough justice. And it may involve actually eyeballing what a problem is and figuring out how much it would cost to fix. And it's rough, but it's fair.
Doctors and nurses are required to do ongoing, continuing education in their fields. Do judges have to do it as well?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, let's say, for the average person out there who has to subject themselves to the whims of a judge.
Yes.
Yes, they have to do continuing judicial education, CJE, we call it in Florida. And it means you have to go and keep up on changes in the law, exchange viewpoints with your colleagues at conferences and in discussions, and hopefully keep up with the constant changes that are taking place.
Right. So you end up traveling to a judicial conference somewhere, meeting judges from other parts of the state.
Yeah, they combine it with a little junket.
Combine a little golf, a little this, a little that. Yeah, no, they actually really were educational. I used to always feel very energized when we came back.
Terrific.
They're very good. In fact, I taught at them for a while.
You have taught
towards
them.
the end at New Judges College.
Right. I remember when I was going to go to my first one, you spoke to the godfather of one of our daughters, who's a judge also, about going there. What did he say?
He had, when he first became a judge, I had been a judge for a while. He became a judge, and then we went to a piano bar during one of these conferences, and everybody's singing at the piano bar, and I'm like,
wonderful time.
Bob, why won't you sing?
Right.
And he said, no. Why? Because if you sing, you get thirsty. If you get thirsty, you drink. If you drink, you're unfaithful, and I don't want to be unfaithful. I'm like, dude, you just went from 0 to 100 really fast. You'd have to find somebody willing to take you home, all right? So I don't know what you're talking about. You should be singing with us. It was this big running joke for years until you became a judge.
Yeah,
and you went on your first judicial conference.
I think it was in Orlando, right?
That's right. And then I called Bob, and I said, Bob, remember all that stuff I said a few years ago? Forget all of that. John doesn't get to sing. You know?
Don't let him go to the piano bar.
Don't let him go to the piano bar. Don't let him sing.
You have nothing to worry about, Marilyn.
This is the plaintiff, Kimberly Adams. She says she lived with the defendant after she was released from prison, but moved out because she couldn't take his oppressive rules. Now the guy's holding her furniture hostage. He can't be allowed to get away with stealing from her like this, so she's suing for the $4,941.72 she's owed. This is the defendant, Peter Filla. He says he felt bad for the plaintiff because she had a rough life. And when she moved back in with her husband, he told her she could leave her stuff at his place because it wouldn't fit in her husband's place. She agreed to pay him $175 a month. She still owes him for 2 months' storage. She never paid him. Now all this time has passed and the stuff is abandoned, so he threw it all out. He's accused of tossing it all away.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she moved in with the defendant after being released from prison, but she had to move out because the guy had all sorts of oppressive rules. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff is trying to use his place as a storage unit. She hasn't paid him in over 2 months, and he threw all her junk in the garbage. It's the case of freedom's just another word.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Ms. Adams, you are suing Mr. Fila, your former friend, for $4,941.72 in items that you say he threw out without authority. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I've known Pete since 2012. We've been friends off and on.
How did you two meet?
He drove cab, and we met in the cab.
Okay, so go on.
Okay, so this year I was in... I had gone to jail for a drunk driving, and I was in a halfway house for 6 months, which was my choice. I did need a place to stay, and Pete offered me, his home. He took me to buy my furniture and my TV and things that I needed.
Did you pay rent at his home?
I did.
All right.
January, February, March, I didn't pay rent. I did give him money for utilities. Things weren't that great living there.
How many months did you actually live there?
January, February, March, April. By the end of April, I was gone.
Okay. Where'd you go?
To my husband's house.
Okay. Did you leave stuff behind when you left?
I had taken just a couple of bags with me, and I thought my stuff was safe.
Did he give you permission to leave him there?
Yes. After I didn't live there, April and May and June, I still paid $450. I knew that he needed the help and needed a roommate, so I still paid the $450, even though I wasn't living there. I gave him $50 for utilities. In May, I wanted to sell my furniture. I couldn't get into the house. I did have a key, but he put a toggle lock on the door.
So did you talk to him and say, I want to sell the furniture, I need to get in there?
Yes.
Did you mention it to him, and what did he say to you?
Yes. He would not answer his phone.
Okay, so wait a second. You guys were good friends and you trusted each other, and something went wrong if he's not answering his phone. So what happened between you guys?
Well, in July, I paid $170, and then August, I paid him $180. That was for storage. I agreed on $175.
Okay, hold on. So then, all right, so you're paying storage now. You're not living there. Now we're in June and July. You're paying for storage. And when is it that you want access so you can sell your stuff?
September.
All right, so what happens in August and September? Do you pay the storage fee in August and September?
August I paid $180. September I did not pay him.
Okay, so now in September go ahead.
I had someone to buy my furniture
in September, but you owed storage from September because it's September, and and you hadn't paid September. So what happens when you communicate with him and tell him there's someone who wants to buy my furniture? What does he say?
He just ignored my text.
Oh, did you call him?
He doesn't answer his phone.
All right, so what was your plan? What happened in September? What contact did you have with him in September then?
Just through emails. Oh, no, text, not emails.
All right, so he sent you 2 texts saying you could come pick it up. When did he send those texts? In September, he said, I don't know what day. I could come on a Monday at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Obviously, I need someone to carry the furniture. I wanted to pack up the rest of my belongings, a lot of belongings left behind. He kept my stuff. He kept all my stuff.
All right, but you're going to have to explain to me what went wrong between you guys, because you were good friends and now you're not. So what went wrong between you guys?
I don't know.
And then when he gave you 2 dates in September for you to come pick up your stuff, why didn't you pick up your stuff?
My son was working. His friend was in school. I was working. I couldn't be there when he said to be there. But instead of him being a real friend and communicating with me,
what did he do?
He just said, you can come on this day at this time. And I couldn't do it.
Did you ever attempt to arrange with the police to get your stuff on a date where you had a truck available or help available?
Yes. Pete told me don't bring the police to his house, so I didn't. I called his landlord on November 1st. I called the landlord.
Well, what happened between September and October?
He blocked me on Messenger. He blocked me on Facebook, and he blocked me on my phone. He said, I'm blocking you. He said, don't contact me anymore and mail my key back.
All right. Mr. Fila, what's going on?
Well, to be honest with you, most of the stuff she's told you is true. You know what I mean? We were good friends and everything else like that. And what caused that problem with her was the fact that my ex-girlfriend was here. You know what I mean? She had come back, and everything like that. Kimberly didn't like it. But I messaged her, told her to come get her stuff, to just pay me the money she owed me and come get her stuff. She didn't answer me. And so I messaged again, you know what I mean? Did the same thing. She wouldn't answer me. The only reason, Your Honor, I don't have those text messages right now is because same thing. My brother bought me a phone, and the guy factory reset it because my plan was to send you both conversations.
All you got to do is save your phone, folks, before you get a new phone. Save the content of your phone on a cloud, which everyone has included in their program. Can I just ask you a question, Mr. Fila?
Sure.
She didn't pay September?
Yes.
And she didn't pay October?
Right.
Okay.
So then what happened is that after a while of staying home, telling her she's right, I gave her a certain amount of time to come. You know.
Wait, when you say a certain amount of time, did you give her specific times or a certain amount of time?
I told her to come by like 5 o'clock the next day.
1 o'clock.
Another time I gave her till noon. You know what I mean? Because
right, but what? Okay, I understand, but you know she's got to get help, truck. You know, it might be a little more complicated than that for her. What happened between you two?
She got upset. Like I said, I've known Kimberly a good 20 years.
I've read the text that you do have, and in the text you say, you know what I found. What did you find?
I don't want to say it because it's personal to her or whatever, but it was a Coke straw.
Your Honor, I have 3 years clean.
And what bothers me is she knows my kids and everything, and she knows my daughter comes here, you know?
How old's your daughter?
My daughter's 22.
Your Honor, the only one doing drugs in the house was him and his girl. And I had to leave because they hid in their room doing drugs. I had to leave. I couldn't live like that. There was beer in the refrigerator all the time.
When did you discover that he had gotten rid of your stuff?
The landlord told me that he said he got rid of November 1st.
Okay. So between September and October, you don't get your stuff. And
no, he blocked me.
Right. And I do see a text where you say to her October 13th that you're going to block her because of what you found. So how are you able, Mr. Fila, to prove that she abandoned it if she has no way to pick it up because you've blocked her and she can't get there? Did you videotape the stuff you threw out so that I could see what she had left there?
I did it. But
did you take photographs of it?
I did it. It was a bedroom set, like she said, and a bureau and like 2 bags of clothes.
Okay, and so Ms. Adams, hold on. Ms. Adams, Ms. Adams,
full of clothes.
Mr. Fila, can you explain to me why you threw out all her stuff instead of making sure she got it and we wouldn't be here today?
Well, because like I said, I went to the police twice. And,
right, but when you went to the police the second time, you were complaining that she had abandoned it, but you had blocked her since October 13th, hadn't you?
I didn't block her, though.
But you said you were blocking her, and she says you did, or you weren't answering her.
I blocked her later on.
But you said on October 13th you were blocking her never to call you again. That's what you said on October 13th. Right?
I'm not sure if that was the date, to be honest
I am. It's on the text.
But at one point, I did tell her that.
Right. So I have text, but what I'm missing are the ones where you say, you give her all these opportunities to pick up the items at mutually convenient times. How did you throw out her stuff? How did you throw it out?
We ended up having people come and take it.
Who? What kind of people? Who?
Gucci watch, $600 necklace.
Oh, why are you leaving a
perfume.
Gucci watch and a $600 necklace? If you have a Gucci watch, why isn't it on your wrist? Why would you leave it there to be stored at his house when he and his girlfriend do nothing but drugs in their room? Why would I believe there was a Gucci watch? I mean, you think I was born yesterday?
Welcome back to the People's Court. So the question, did the defendant throw away nearly $5,000 of the plaintiff's valuables, or is she just making this up? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
How are you going to prove up your case? You are saying that it's $5,000 worth of goods that he threw out. How are you going to prove the value of $5,000 worth of goods?
The only proof I have is my receipt for my bedroom set.
Yeah. And so you paid $1,318.72.
Yes.
All right. Now, you say you had a 50-inch TV, and according to you, Mr. Fila, did she have a 50-inch TV there?
No.
55-inch.
Okay. Do you have any proof that you had a 55-inch TV there?
He took me to buy it. He took me to buy it at Walmart.
Does that ring a bell, Mr. Fila?
Yep, I did bring her, but she took stuff from here throughout.
I did not. You wouldn't let me in.
Husband. When she moved back,
Your Honor, I never took anything
But
out.
I don't understand. When you say he wouldn't let you in, I don't know why you keep saying that, because at the beginning you didn't have a problem with him. You were still paying rent even though you weren't living there. You had access to the place. But
no,
wait,
I didn't
back
have
in
access.
Okay, then don't pay rent. March and April, you didn't have any access. April and May, I mean, you didn't have any access, but you paid
No,
rent.
I had no access.
But you're paying rent.
Yes.
And you had no access in April and May.
Exactly.
Why are you paying rent if you have no access? Why aren't you calling the cops?
I felt bad for him that he needed a roommate. He needed some help. And
Did she pay rent April and May, Mr. Fila?
So she did give once. She gave some money to help out with the bills.
That's not my question. My question is, did she pay April and May rent?
Yes.
Ms. Adams, I'm not asking you that question. Mr. Fila, I'm asking you that question. Did she pay April and May rent?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Ms. Adams, do you have any proof that you paid April and May rent?
I gave him cash.
Did you get a receipt?
No, he never gave me
I don't care about he did. Then you don't release the cash. I mean, cash doesn't leave this hand till a receipt enters this hand. That's how you give cash. Otherwise, how are you ever going to prove that you gave cash? All right, so we've got the bedroom furniture. You say you have exactly $2,159 worth of clothing. How would you possibly know that?
Just guesstimations.
Okay, do you have any receipts for any of the clothing, anything?
I mean, I could go into my... No, I don't have receipts.
Did you, when you say that you had just gotten out of jail for a DUI, how long were you in jail for that DUI?
For 1 year.
Okay, so that's not your first DUI then. That had to be...
No, it wasn't.
Which number was that?
It was a fourth offense. Okay. I had my first offense when I was 18. And then in 1994, 2000, and then...
Okay. Did you throw out, according to you, 2 bags of clothes? Do you know whether there was any jewelry in the clothes, Mr. Fila?
No, it was clothes.
Well, you don't know. Did you go through all of her bags?
No, but I could tell it was
How could you tell from the outside of a trash bag what's inside? See, this is why you don't do this. You don't throw it out. You make an effort to just get this over with and get her to get her stuff out and then say good riddance. That's why this, because otherwise I'm sitting here trying to recreate a moment in time that you have not documented because you didn't bother to take video. You didn't bother to take pictures. You threw out all her stuff. You're looking at me in the eye saying she abandoned it, but you blocked her. Let me explain how these lawsuits work. The plaintiff has to prove that you had her items and you threw it out. She has proven that because you admit it. Your defense is something you're responsible for proving, Mr. Fila. Your defense is she legally abandoned it. You have no evidence of your defense because you would have to have those texts where you made yourself available to her. And, you know, I would have to see that she was being unreasonable. Offering her an opportunity to get her things once does not mean, and she doesn't make it, that doesn't mean she abandoned it. You have a very high burden as someone who has her belongings to be able to prove that you are allowed to throw out all of her belongings. You have to be able to show that it was repeated on her part, that she just didn't care and didn't show up. Not that there was a broken truck and there was a problem. When I see these texts where you're the one blocking her and she testifies in accordance exactly with what you say, which is I'm going to block you because of what I found, and then she can't reach you all of October, then you throw out her stuff in November, it's like, how are you going to prove that she abandoned the stuff as opposed to you decided you didn't want anything else to do with her and threw out her stuff? Now I've got to sit here and try to recreate the value of her stuff when the one thing I know about is the furniture, which was purchased in January at the time of it being thrown out. There's a certain depreciation to the furniture, so I'm going to kind of do a little mojo, do that mojo that I do. Do that thing I do and kind of just come up with a figure that is rough justice in this case, because how do I know what your clothing's worth or whether you had a Gucci watch there? I don't think anybody leaves behind a Gucci watch. But no, I don't want to hear any more flapping gums. Do you have any evidence you haven't shown me? Other than talk, because both of you talk. I want evidence. Does anybody have any evidence they want to show the judge before the judge rules?
I don't know how I can get you the value. My clothes were all brand new. I had things I didn't wear.
Okay.
That's
more talk. That's more talk. I would need receipts. Ms. Adams, there's a way to prove these cases up in terms of value, and that's receipts. Okay? So I am ruling in favor of Ms. Adams because I do not find that Mr. Fila has proven that the items were abandoned, certainly not by the text I do have where he says, never call me again, back in October, early October, and there's zero evidence of him making himself available and her being the one who's blowing it off. If anything, I see the opposite, her saying, please, please, I want to get my stuff. So I am finding in favor of Ms. Adams. The question is in what amount, and based on a little rough justice here, I am finding in her favor in the amount of $1,600. That is my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, after using a little rough justice, the judge agrees that the plaintiff deserves $1,600 from the defendant. Let me ask you, Mr. Filler, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm glad she didn't get it all, and I guess it is what it is.
That's the way it is, all right? You've got to give her $1,600, and that's what the judge says, so you're going to have to do that. Ms. Adams, I know you're disappointed. You're not getting $5,000, but you had no evidence. You understand that? You had no proof of anything. The Gucci watch,
right, receipts,
the necklace. Yeah, I feel sorry for you because,
I had brand new clothes that I never wore. I had a closet full of clothes. My bureaus were full of clothes. It was not 2 bags. It was a lot of money worth. Brand new stuff, brand new.
All right. Well, listen, I know it's been a rough road for you, but good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Stay on the straight and narrow path if you can. Okay?
Thank you.
Doug, this is a case really involving abandonment, whether the plaintiff abandoned the property. These laws not only vary from state to state, but even city to city. So this is something that comes up very often in just everyday life. So if you think something is being abandoned, if you worry you've abandoned something, go online and you can check out specifically, type in abandonment, type in your city or state, and you're going to find out the rules of the road.
A friend filled up at a gas station, and 10 minutes later, her car sputtered and died. It was towed to a garage and quickly determined that she got bad gas, maybe watered down. Can she sue the gas station for the $700 repair? And would the explanation from the repair garage be enough to carry the day?
I think so. Yeah, I kind of do, because...
Can anybody say that? Because I don't think
Well, anybody say it, but you have an expert witness saying it. The mechanic is going to say... this is what happened. I mean, do you think it has to be tested to see if it's watered down?
Absolutely.
Who's going to do that over $700?
No.
It'll cost you thousands.
How do you nail causation on that? If I'm the judge and they come in and they go, well, my mechanic says it was watered down. Well, maybe you want to make a quick $700.
Right, but I'll ask the mechanic, if I'm the judge, I say, how do you know? Right. And what's the mechanic's answer going to be?
I don't know. I've never done small claims the way you have.
Right.
So you're accustomed to the kind of proof that comes in the front door, and you have to make a judgment, boom, like that.
Right.
Based on the proof it comes in.
And people do the best they can without lawyers. And, you know, if I have a mechanic telling me, look, Judge, this thing was sputtering, I could tell because I've been a mechanic for 20 years what it was.
If she's persuasive or he's persuasive.
Right. And so I changed this, I did that, and boom, her car was fixed. Although 700 seems a little high, but you know, if they say that to me, I'm going to find that pretty darn persuasive.
Right.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a mechanic and got away for less than 700? You know?
Well, that'll do it for this session of the People's Court. See you next time.